Hiya! Welcome to our YouTube channel where we decode criminal behaviors. Before we continue, I'd like you to understand that while these signs we discuss can help you recognize certain patterns, it's important to note that not everyone who exhibits these behaviors is necessarily a sociopath. Every individual is unique, and these traits may be linked to other factors or conditions. Always seek professional advice for any concerns about mental health. Thank you. Now, let's dig in together. If you've been paying attention, you might have noticed some common behaviors that tend to develop over time in people showing signs of sociopathy, sometimes leading to extreme cases like serial killing. One of the first traits you'll often see is that many of these individuals are very quiet and prefer being alone. They don't enjoy socializing much and usually avoid forming connections unless there's something in it for them. It's like they're self-centered, only engaging with others when there's a personal benefit involved. Take, for instance, Ed Gein, who was extremely introverted and preferred to stay away from social interactions. He lived with his domineering mother and had very few social connections. He didn't engage with others unless it was absolutely necessary, and when he did, it was often in a way that served his own needs. Another example is Jeffrey Dahmer. Known as the Milwaukee Cannibal, Dahmer led a similarly isolated life. He was very quiet and kept to himself, avoiding meaningful connections with others. Dahmer only engaged socially when it suited him, using charm or manipulation to lure victims into his traps. Their behavior is highly self-centered and detached, fitting the sociopathic traits of only forming relationships that offered personal gain or fulfillment. This leads us to the next sign, always keeping to themselves and acting more violently when they're angry. There's an old saying, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. But I'll tell you, a quiet mind can also be a vacancy, especially when you keep everything bottled up. For sociopaths, the longer they suppress their emotions or thoughts, the more likely those feelings will turn violent. They often carry thoughts of anger or aggression deep inside, but they shy away from sharing these feelings with others. Instead, they keep them hidden, only for them to eventually manifest in secret or destructive ways. Again, take Jeffrey Dahmer, for instance. Dahmer was known for being reclusive and quiet, and he often kept his violent tendencies hidden from those around him. His mind became a place where his dark thoughts festered, eventually leading to horrific acts of violence. Dahmer's inability to express his anger or feelings of isolation in healthy ways resulted in violent outbursts that he kept secret, making him a prime example of how sociopaths can turn their repressed emotions into violent actions. People who have an obsession with serial killers, sometimes referred to as being part of the serial killer fandom, or morbid curiosity, can be perplexing and disturbing to many. While it's said to be normal for individuals to be intrigued or fascinated by criminal psychology for various reasons, such as trying to understand the psychology behind their actions, serial killers represent an extreme form of deviance. Some people become fascinated by what makes them tick, what causes someone to commit such horrific acts. In these cases, the attraction can be more about curiosity or academic interest in human behavior, rather than an unhealthy obsession. However, becoming extremely fixated on serial killers often leads to admiring or idolizing them in unhealthy ways. It goes beyond simple curiosity to glorifying or romanticizing the killers, rather than focusing on the victims or the horrors they inflicted. This can be psychologically troubling, as it suggests an emotional detachment from the violence and pain caused by these killers. In extreme cases, this admiration might be linked to antisocial behavior, and in some instances, it can even encourage emulation or a desire to understand or connect with the killer's mind. For instance, Peter Sutcliffe was believed to have idolized Jack the Ripper. Like Jack the Ripper, Sutcliffe primarily targeted sex workers, and he even went so far as to send a letter to the Daily Mail, pretending to be Jack the Ripper. Because of these similarities, the press started calling him the Yorkshire Ripper. Another example is the Academy Maniacs, who drew inspiration from the Dnepropetrovsk Maniacs. Just like their predecessors, the Academy Maniacs carried out brutal acts and even filmed these horrific acts, mimicking the shocking behavior of the Dnepropetrovsk killers. The last one on the list is the most shocking trait of sociopaths: envy. This one is particularly unsettling because it often goes unnoticed or misunderstood by others. Sociopaths may feel intense envy toward others who have things they desire, whether it's power, success, relationships, or material wealth. But what makes this trait so disturbing is the way they handle it. Unlike regular jealousy, sociopathic envy isn't just about wishing they had what someone else has. Sociopaths often believe they're entitled to those things and will go to great lengths to get them. Instead of working to improve themselves, they might resort to manipulation, deception, exploitation, or even violence to take what they feel they deserve. This makes their envy very dangerous, as it is often combined with a lack of empathy. They don't care who they hurt in the process of satisfying their desires. This toxic combination of entitlement, envy, and ruthlessness makes sociopathic envy a particularly destructive force. An example here is Elliot Rodger. Rodger committed mass murder motivated by envy. He explicitly stated in his manifesto that he envied others who had romantic relationships and social success, which he felt entitled to but couldn't achieve. What do you think about this observation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know if you'd be interested in a part 2 on this topic. Thanks for watching.